Across the United States, educators are actively digging through storage closets to retrieve a relic from the past, the Paper Examination Blue Book. When physical paper isn't an option, teachers are resorting to digital sabotage. Some are burying invisible white text prompts deep inside their online coursework, traps designed specifically to catch students who copy and paste the material directly into an AI chatbot. The panic driving these countermeasures comes from a growing body of research. Early studies indicate that handing generative AI over to young children actively erodes their ability to develop basic cognitive and social skills. Parents are getting organized. Grassroots lobbying groups like PACES have specifically called on politicians, including New York City mayoral candidate Zohar Mamdani, to declare an emergency 2-year moratorium on generative AI in public schools. But that resistance is slamming into a heavily funded counternarrative. The American tech industry insists that artificial intelligence in the classroom is an unstoppable force of nature, and that schools have a duty to adapt immediately. Treating a commercial product as a force of nature forces educators into an unwinnable daily arms race. It also raises a fascinating question. What actually happens when a sovereign government simply refuses to surrender its schools to big tech? For the answer, we look to Norway. Starting late this August, the Norwegian government is implementing a near-total ban on artificial intelligence in elementary schools. Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store's argument is rooted in developmental psychology. He states clearly that unfettered AI access introduces a severe risk that young kids will miss the vital manual steps required to actually build their intelligence. This 3-tiered diagram outlines Norway's new legislative structure. At the foundation, a strict total ban for ages 6 to 13 enforces that reading and math are learned the old-fashioned way. Moving up, teenagers 14 to 16 get transitional access under direct teacher supervision. Finally, students 17 to 19 are taught to use AI as a professional tool. The government isn't rejecting modern tools. They are intentionally synchronizing access to those tools with the physical development of the human brain. Norway has the political confidence to enforce this because they already ran a successful trial on a different piece of hardware, the smartphone. This line chart tracks academic results following their smartphone ban. Notice the immediate, sharp upward trend in student GPAs. As grades went up, this secondary metric representing mental health visits plummeted, with the steepest drops recorded among young female students. Compare that state land protection to the environment in the United States, where organizations like the National Academy for AI Instruction are heavily promoting generative tools to public school teachers. That academy isn't an independent educational board. It is financed entirely by Microsoft, OpenAI, and Anthropic, the very corporations selling the product. The messaging from these initiatives has been highly effective. Even Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, publicly stated that navigating this corporate technology is an inevitable reality her members simply have to accept. Silicon Valley spends millions to frame their corporate roadmaps as biological evolution. Norway's data proves that a government can completely ignore those roadmaps to defend student cognition. Backing up their digital boundaries, the Norwegian government is also introducing legislation to forcibly return physical textbooks to these classrooms. Educational technology is a deliberate policy choice. Communities do not have to stand quietly in the rain and pretend it's the weather. The real conversation doesn't require us to permanently outlaw algorithms, nor does it require us to hand an 8-year-old a machine that writes their essays for them. The solution comes down to developmental timing. The physical struggle of learning must happen before a student is offered a cognitive shortcut. Because before teaching children to prompt a machine to think for them, the education system must guarantee they know how to think for themselves.